Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection, joined by Adam Talley with Talley Insurance.
Good to see you. I feel like we've been ships passing in the night. I haven't seen you in a while.
It has. And as promised, not only did I go to Ren Fair this past weekend, I kidnapped someone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, I actually kidnapped the tallest person I can find.
The tallest person you can find?
I'm so tall right now.
Wow, okay. I like that.
Name and occupation, ma'am.
My name's Madeline. I'm a stilt walker, and I also perform a haywire circus show.
A haywire circus show.
Yes.
So what does that involve?
A lot of balancing, mostly tight wire walking.
Okay. How high are you?
Oh, the wire's not too high. I have a dance wire that's about 4 feet, but that's plenty high for me.
Did they put a net under you?
No.
Any bales of hay?
Leaves, maybe?
No hay.
Do you scare children?
Sometimes.
So when you're on your stilts, you're like what? 8, 12, 16, 20 meters tall?
On the stilts, I'm 8 feet.
8 feet.
Meters. That'd be like 60 feet.
It should be
It would be
Godzilla
really
sized.
tall.
That'd be very tall.
You can take over Tokyo.
Right.
So I understand you do this professionally.
I do.
So
Yes.
so you do a Ren Fair here, or as we call it, BARF, Bay Area Ren Fest.
Yes.
And this is the last weekend of BARF. So you do the Ren Fair here, but you also do one up in Kansas, Turkey.
St. Louis.
So it's one of those Middle West traits.
One of
You
those.
weren't anywhere close.
Very close. So how do you get into stilt walking? You wake up one morning and say, I'm a short person and I want to be taller than everyone else, and then you hit your growth spurt and you're like, I'm really tall?
I mean, I do really enjoy that with the stilt walking. I get to be tall for once. But I went to circus school, and they're like, here, you need to try all these things. And stilt walking was one of them.
Where did you go to circus school? Where?
I started in St. Louis
Okay.
at Circus Harmony, and
Okay.
I did a pre-professional program there with them. And then from there, I went to Circus College in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I understand that her Philadelphia college did not have an undergrad in clowning.
No undergrad. Okay, just graduate clowning.
Was it graduate clowning?
You can learn clowning if that is your thing. But that was I wanted the tight wire walking. Yes, I'm not a clown.
Now, when you are on the stilts, are you in like a jester type get up, or what's?
No, she didn't take clowning at. Listen.
I feel like you guys are starting to muck up the show. I'm glad I'm here. Welcome, Madeline.
Hey, thank you.
We're talking about Bay Area Ren Fest.
I know. The fun fact, Pat's family was from the circus world.
Oh.
If he's on the other side, I'm surprised he hasn't chimed in. He's probably doing traffic in another city.
Yeah, he does a lot of traffic and
hear
weather
us.
on Friday mornings.
So, welcome. I think
Thank
I
you.
saw you there. They had a media day, which was not so media.
Yes,
it was a
I
little
was
weird.
there.
You popped in and out.
So-
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
What
of
is
course.
the tallest you've been? Both on stilts and in the air.
Oh boy. On stilts, probably 10 feet, and then in the air, probably 50. That was I was doing aerial silks. So
50. Now you had
That's big stilts.
something to catch you
yeah,
underneath that,
yeah.
right?
That
Okay.
time
All right.
I had him at.
Yeah.
Surely you're not afraid of heights, right?
I'm not afraid of heights. I'm scared of falling.
Oh, so you are.
Yeah. So
It's always the sudden stop that gets you.
Right.
it is. It really is.
What? So you said you've done 10-foot stilts. What's like the highest that people do on stilts? Like, how high does it get? Obviously not 60 feet. Like,
Hey, when I saw
Leo's talking.
Lion King at the Straz, Stilt Giraffe was my favorite character, and Stilt Giraffe was easily 25 feet tall.
really?
Well, there you go. That's
You
more
get
than
that
I know.
high. Yeah. That's wild.
How do you get up there in those?
I sit on something slightly tall and then just kind of push my way up.
Really?
Yeah.
So have you ever lost your balance trying to get up in them?
I've not really. I've stumbled, but you just kind of.
I had
find your
some
center.
questions in my head yesterday for her because they sent me you so late. I've been
Yes,
asking since
yes.
last week.
So we've got lots of questions.
What is
She's
the-
actually done
I
this
have
in
a
Turkey.
lot too. I have a lot too. So what's the bottom of the stilts look like? Is it like a peg, like a fence post, or is it like? Do you have like a platform, like a foot? Like, how does it look? I'm very curious.
That's
about
a
this.
great question. So there are certain types of stilts. I use peg stilts. So It's just a rubber stopper at the bottom. A lot of people will compare it to a horse hoof in shape.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So when you're, I mean, this Ren Fair here in Dade City, which is
Last weekend.
last weekend
of the festival.
This is the last weekend of the festival. The one in Dade City has much more even ground than Mosey. Did you do it when it was in Mosey?
I did not do Mosey, but you're making me very curious about what it was like.
It was dusty. It was dirty. There were tree roots
I
everywhere.
remember a lot of holes, too.
A lot of
on the
holes.
ground.
So yeah, I was wondering. I had not seen your kind before. They moved to Dade City.
Now that you mention it, I don't remember seeing stilt walkers on Fowler Avenue when they were by Moses.
As the insurance advisor, I feel like that's a liability.
Well, now they have two.
We have three.
Three. I only saw the person that walking around as a tree was pretty awesome.
Yes,
I
that's
saw
Sir
that one,
Oakhart.
yeah.
So you were not a tree.
I am not a tree.
Okay.
I am all in purple, and I occasionally join the maple.
Did you have blue hair?
No.
Oh, okay.
Blue
I
hair.
had to get it when I understood we were getting the Stillwalker. I got excited that we were getting Sir Oakhart.
Gotcha.
Yes.
But now I'm even more excited we get the person that gets to terrorize children around the maple.
Does he play any of those pranks like the tree guy you see all over like TikTok and Facebook that jumps out at people? Does he do that?
Seen it. He's normally pretty nice.
Okay.
He's a different foliage than the rest of the trees
Yes.
there. He stands out.
He does stand out.
Got it.
So you said you do the one here and you do the one in St. Louis.
Yes.
Do you travel around to other places or just go between those two?
I do. So the furthest I've been was actually last year. I went to Turkey. And,
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was a performer at one of the resorts there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is so fun. I love it. How'd you get started in this? Did they ask you that?
They didn't. So I just
We asked everything else.
everything else.
Well, we there was the clown college, so we kind of got the basic.
I
the
popped in
start.
a minute or so
Yes.
late, so.
So what happened was I was a runner. I did cross country.
Okay.
And then I kind of stopped doing that. And I'm like, I don't want to run alone. That's kind of boring. I need something fun to keep me active. And circus was what I ended up with.
I like
From there it evolved.
Runners are like wolves, right? Don't they usually go in packs?
Yeah.
Or you ran cross country by yourself? Like
I grew, yeah.
So
Okay.
how do you explain that to your parents? I mean, you're going off to college. You're gonna specialize in something. They're hoping doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, insurance agent, real estate agent, and you're
I'm
like,
gonna have fun.
I want to go to clown college.
Oh, they were all in, actually.
They were?
Good.
Yes. Although their options were circus school or a gardener. So, I mean, they both were very kind of active activities.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of money to be made in gardening. I was
Yeah,
actually
there
talking
is.
with, on Tuesday at an event, I was talking with the lady that runs the natural nursery up in Seminole Heights. I forget the exact name.
the one on Nebraska that's right there.
Yeah, the one on Nebraska, about the holistic plants and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, it's
Would that be horticulture? Is that what that would be?
horticulture.
Horticulture.
Oh, look
Well,
at me.
then,
A lot of industry there. A lot of industry.
that's a big word.
I know, on a
I'm so proud of
Friday
you.
before 10 o'clock, the coffee's not even done yet. I mean, woo.
So what is
Fire.
this Ren Fair, the BARF? What is the final weekend
Wait, the
going to entail?
BARF.
Bay Area
What?
Ren Fest.
Oh,
Yes.
I missed it. Okay.
Sorry, could you repeat the
I know, I'm
question?
sorry.
What is the last theme of the last weekend? Are you doing a masquerade
Oh.
ball this year? Is what's the final?
thought
You know, that's a
saw that
theme I should
off.
know, and I don't know the theme.
I thought I saw that off. Did I? You know what? She gave me these. Oh, here they are. I got them late, like after 8:30 last night, so they almost
That's early
didn't
for
make it in
me.
the outline. Well, for you, but I started my day with yoga at 6 a.m. So I was getting tired by late. But so the this weekend's themed weekend, High Seas Adventure Bon Voyage.
Oh, it's the tattoo competition.
They invite all the tattoo pals to participate in a tattoo contest to show off their artwork. Do they do real tattoos there?
They don't do real tattoos.
Okay.
There's an airbrush tattoo
Oh, okay.
spot, yes,
For the children.
and adults.
Okay.
I see you as a
for all
big face
ages.
paint kind
Yeah,
of guy.
definitely not.
Maybe like
Unless
a
it's-
fish
unless
across the eye.
Sunscreen, unless it's sunscreen.
Well, we're going to have some more Ren Fest talk, but Before we do, I'm going to get into the numbers as soon as we come back after the break
Do we have any tickets to give away?
for the week. We do. I'm told Abigail's sent them with you, or she's sending more.
have
Or something.
them, yes.
We have more 4-packs of tickets to give out. We're out.
813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. If you want some Ren Fair tickets, we have some 4-packs. Just text the word BARF for Bay Area Ren Fest.
I'm going to say
813-377-2775.
hello to one of our listeners. I missed him. He was like leaving when I was coming in, and I missed you. I'm sorry, but thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Welcome home. Leo Kane here with Beryl Engineering and Inspection in the mid part of the hour with your market update.
Yes, the market update. So this week we have new listings coming in at 689.
That's substantially lower than last month.
I know. I'm telling you,
Last
the
week.
inventory's tight. So I'll tell you what I'm seeing in the market as well. The pending listings coming in at 983. That's exactly what I'm seeing in the market. Sold is 809. So that number's been sold's been a little bit neck and neck with new listings, but that's higher and new listings is lower. If
This
you
is
notice.
showing a shrinking market again. This is showing we
Yes.
don't have enough listings to cover the ones going under contract, to cover the ones that are being sold. So we've got that shrinking
I'll tell
market.
you, yes, we definitely have a shrinking market because what we're seeing in the market is stuff that's been sitting for a little while, is starting to get gobbled up. It's like this weird little spring spike that
Yeah.
we've seen in the past, but it's different.
And I've heard that March and April tend to be the busiest months for real estate in the calendar year.
Yeah, it's when it picks up because I feel like people are here for spring break, so some of your northerners that are buying kind of do it during that time. Families that are looking to move over the summertime start now during this time so they can wrap up the school year and then get...
Do you get a lot of longer contracts around this time?
No, we're
For that
still
reason?
seeing
Or-
30, 45 days.
Or they'll still close and
Yeah.
just sit on it for a month or two until the kids are out?
It's for some people, if you have the luxury, it's a transition, right? You can close on another property and
Yeah.
then take your time to move or do what you want to do to the house before you move in, right? Like, prime example, the house that we sold, we always wanted to coat the garage floor. But we didn't do it before we moved in. So I feel like that's one of those things you got to do it before you move in,
Yes.
or it's too late.
Or paint. Paint's
Yes.
kind of a lot easier before you start putting furniture in, that kind of stuff.
Well,
yeah.
and rearranging the closets, right? Like if you want to take out the wire racks and put in like California closets or whatever, like do all that stuff during that time. But we're definitely seeing a spike, Leo, in the market, in the active buyers on the market. It's we can really feel it on the listing side. Normally, I carry about 10 active listings at all time, but this market's been so sparse that I haven't had 10 all the time, but I've had at least 3 to 5 minimum all the time active. I have one left, and I just got an offer on it last night.
Very nice.
So do you think...
We've got a bunch of new stuff coming, really exciting
Are
stuff
you seeing
coming.
the prices go up because of the lack of inventory?
I mean, we're definitely seeing a shrinking inventory.
I don't want to say yes to that, but I feel like the answer is absolute stabilization with maybe a tick. I felt like we never had that dip, right, that we were looking for.
We had a dip.
I mean, right, fourth quarter, right? I just didn't think that was the dip. Like, I thought there was a different one coming, but
You thought that was like the pre-dip.
that could have been the dip. Yeah, I mean,
So-
it's normal holiday. Right? Holiday stuff, we slow down a little bit. There's a
So
little
pricing
lull.
wise compared to, same house last year, right? Where are we looking at?
Pricing-wise, we're still up.
4 or 5%.
still
Yeah.
up. Okay.
We're still up.
We're not seeing the 12, 13% year over year.
13% is
So,
unrealistic.
This
right?
answers your question. The Florida Realtors Report, that's why I leave this in the studio and don't throw it away. But February 2023, you were asking about median sales
Love the
price.
median. Never
right?
use averages.
We're up-
Listening audience, never use averages. Only use median.
We're up 3.1% from last year, and that was a
Okay.
crazy market last year, and we're still up 3.1%.
And that was before the interest rate started taking a...
No, they were already,
Were they already like
the
4 or
first one had
5?
already happened. No, they were still like, you could get 2s and 3s at that time.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. That's before anything happened, too. So, like,
Right.
this is... that the average monthly mortgage on 380, even though it went up 3%, the average monthly mortgage is probably a lot higher on that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's higher. I mean, we did the numbers. You're anywhere from 3 to probably $600 higher on a housing payment because of the rate.
So-
right? But marry the house, date the rate.
If the housing market prices are high and the interest rates are high, we're pushing affordable housing out the window in the Bay Area. So are we attracting a certain type of buyer? Maybe like a lawyer, a doctor? Are we attracting certain types of professions into the high-tech area? I know Ybor City tried for a while a tech initiative to attract tech businesses. Are we attracting that caliber?
I'm so glad that you asked that. So yes, we're still getting some tech. Yes, we're still getting a lot of businesses that move into the area regularly. But outside of that, a lot of the activity, in my opinion, has been the Hometown Heroes program.
Which is a great program.
Which is like 100 different occupations. It's not just police, nurses, firefighters. There's
Teachers
a lot
on there, right?
Yeah.
Daycare workers.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the one that encompasses like the checkout clerks at the grocery stores?
No.
Oh.
They don't.
But it does
they're not on
encompass.
this one.
It does have a lot. I went to a lunch and learn.
It's a lot.
It's
Yeah. So-
comprehensive, to say the least.
What I want to talk to you about is we had $100 million initially when that kicked off. That kept Florida strong. Then there was another $100 million that was added, and now it's a perfect segue into what I was going to talk about next, Leo. This week, right, for the last several days, and today's the last day of what we call GARD, G-A-R-D, which is Great American Realtor Days, and this is where literally realtors come to Tallahassee and they lobby for things that are important around home ownership. And I've done this before. It was very, very exciting. It was a fun time. I really should have done it when DeSantis was there because I like him and I might have missed that opportunity. But anyway.
You say you like him on our show?
I
That
do.
makes you
I like
a
him.
political pundit?
No, he's smart. He's business wise and he's good for Florida.
Are you going to vote for him for president?
I would, yeah. And I don't even disclose my political party, but I would have to, yes.
Do you think he can
I don't
beat-
want to lose him in Florida.
Do you think he can beat whoever the Democrats have coming in 2024?
Yeah, I do. I think he'd beat anyone, pretty much. But anyway, aside from that, so over 1,000 realtors every year, including this year, lobby in Tallahassee for things that affect home ownership, okay? So this is all during the annual legislative session in Tallahassee. It's about a 3-day event. There's dozens of people that come. There's lawmakers. There's all sorts of legislative briefings for different member groups, right? And they are basically lobbying for things that they feel are important. So Realtor members, of course, lobby for things related to home ownership. And I'll have you know that on the 29th, just a couple days ago, Ron DeSantis signed into law Senate Bill 102, which is related to housing, exactly what you just asked
Affordable
about.
housing. So basically, St. Petersburg last week passed an ordinance that they turned a whole bunch of high-trafficked areas into quadplexability. If you can make that sound any more complicated. Multifamily, yes. Multifamily. So they have this
Up to 4 units.
up to
Yes.
4 units in certain corridors in St. Pete. So we're going to follow those zip codes closely to see if there's any activity spikes in there. And now you're saying that on the state level we're attacking affordable housing, because you've been saying
Yes.
it for a decade, Katrina, that affordable housing is vanishing.
Over a decade, really. And it's funny, I had a conversation this week from someone that moved from San Diego, and I said, well, what's your take on this? What's your opinion? Because I've been saying for at least 15 years, we're going to be like California ultimately, where if you don't own, you can't afford to buy. And it's, the median price just keeps going up, up, up. What do you think about that? Do you think we have a lot of similar traits to places like San Diego? How do you think we compare? And he said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And every person I've ever talked to from San Diego says the same thing about Tampa.
Wait a second. We don't have great wine regions. We don't have earthquakes. What are they talking about?
No, but like in terms of like entertainment, food, just the lifestyle. I mean, it's better, I think, if you ask me. But anyway, Senate Bill 102 is all about housing, and they're calling it the Live Local Act. And that's because they don't want, police officers and teachers having to commute an hour or more just to go to work, right? Because you'll lose them.
And I've seen that play out before. I lived in the early 2000s. I worked in Naples. I had to live in Fort Myers. There was just no way for you to live in Naples if you had a normal job. You had to be a retiree or have this one of these fancier jobs. It's just the housing, the cost of rents down there was just insane. And that was brought about by the Southeast Everglades Restoration Program, where they basically said, Collier County said, hey, all of this land now, is we're delineating it wetlands. We're not allowing you to build on it. That shrunk the available amount of land to build on.
And the prices
Prices went up, and that pushed the workforce into Lee County, which then meant your workforce, anyone in the server industry, I was playing in a band at the time in the bars downtown, you had to drive from Lee County.
Band. Sorry. What did you play again? Drums?
I can't see that.
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar. Okay.
But you had to drive. I had to live in Fort Myers, and I had to drive down to Naples. I just couldn't find a place to live, and I didn't want to live with 4 or 5 others.
How long of a commute was that?
It was about 45 minutes to an hour.
Oof.
Are there still any videos in the archives of you and your band playing?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, can we bring those one day? Maybe we could.
Is it metal? It's metal, right?
No, we actually had 2 bands. We had a band that we did do metal, and then we had a band that was
metal.
What I like to call chick rock, which is
Chick rock.
which is dudes with acoustic guitars that you would play at a bar, and they did like the 90s and early 2000s alternative
rock.
covers.
Chick rock.
Chick rock.
All right.
I like the metal. Bring some videos in. I'd like to.
More about Leo playing from his band days.
So you don't. What would you say if I told you I had hair down to the back of my?
I'd believe it.
The small of my back.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
I would.
I want to see the picture.
Die to see that. Yes,
They exist.
I would pay real monies.
Well, you can look me up on
there you
MooseSpace.
On what?
MooseSpace.
MooseSpace?
Place for cows. No, MySpace.
Oh my gosh, is that still around?
I don't know if the
Is this
email
still
I
active?
had when MySpace was around is still around.
813-377-2775.
Yeah, text BARF. We'll get you some tickets.
Yeah, text BARF to 813-377-2775. We will get you hooked up for tickets to the Tattoo Festival that's happening at Ren Fair this
Tattoo
weekend.
Fest.
And we're going to talk more about the $711 million that is getting infused into Florida as soon as we come back. Stick around.
And welcome home. This is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
You're laughing about it.
I just love the music. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk, and before we dive back into the affordable housing and everything, I did want to touch base on a little bit of what we're going to be talking about next week, which is, since we're talking about state bills and that kind of stuff.
154.
154. So these are changes that have been made to citizens, where if you are a citizens policyholder, regardless of flood zone, they are now requiring you to carry flood insurance. And not only are you...
Is that official now, or it's coming out
that's
official?
official.
Hasn't
That's
been voted
official.
in yet. It has not been voted in yet.
That's what I was like. I thought we were...
It'll be voted in by next Friday.
Okay.
Well, anyways.
So anything new is going to have flood insurance?
Correct.
Or what if you already have a policy?
Everything new is already...
Like renewed, or... Wait.
If you already have a
Let's
policy...
be clear on this.
So here's the deal. If you already have a policy and you don't have flood, and you're in a flood zone, so they're starting with the people that are in flood zones. So that's where we're at right now. Okay? So if you're in a flood zone... and you're with citizens, you have to have flood insurance. Okay, and the flood insurance, here's the caveat: the flood insurance has to either match your coverages on your citizens policy, or be at the maximum that the NFIP allows, which is 250, 100. All right, so you have some people where, we in the past, a way to save money on your flood insurance was to not include contents, right? Because they're only covering it on actual cash value. We've all, as Floridians, we know we know when the flood's coming, right? It's not a surprise to us. There's no flash floods typically, so you can kind of save some of the important stuff.
Right.
So that was a way to save money. Well, now you have to add the contents back on, or you're non-compliant with citizens. So
Which is a lot of money,
Sounds
isn't
like
it?
a money grab. Sounds like a money grab.
Yeah.
So I have a client who, they live in Pinellas County. Citizens, they live in a 65-year-old home. Citizens is their only option. We could go E&S for $10,000, but you're not going to pay $7 extra just to get rid of flood, right?
What's E&S?
Excess and surplus, which is just not as good.
And you have to pay tax on that.
And there's exclusions, and it's almost like a named peril policy as opposed to special form.
Speaking of exclusions, I'm running into a lot of things that are happening on Pine Island and Captiva and Sanibel from Hurricane Ian, and there are complete hurricane exclusions.
How?
That was excluded from the policy.
So if you are in a different topic for a different day, but if you're in a wind zone, a carrier can exclude hurricane. They can exclude wind. And then you'd have to get a wind-only policy through Citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So
how does that work? Like if you have a hurricane exclusion, you're in those areas, and then Ian rolls in it. Was it Ian that last one?
Yeah, Ian, yes.
So how does that work? What are they covering? What are they not
they're
covering?
not covering anything.
They're not covering anything unless you can find a loophole, which I know several, but you can find a loophole to get coverage.
But
What's one of the loopholes?
I'm not going to say on the air right now.
Okay.
But here's the deal. We have
Call or text.
If you are in that area and you have been excluded by wind, I can hook you up with an attorney that can help you on a loophole. 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. Text the word help.
So we have for instance, let's say we have a home that's in a wind zone, okay? And their normal policy excludes wind. We offer them the Citizens wind-only policy, and if they have a mortgage, they have to buy it. So anybody that has a mortgage, you don't have to worry about what Leo's talking about, because you wouldn't be able to, that insurance
Have
wouldn't
that
fly,
policy,
right?
yeah. But I think there's a lot of people with paid-off houses that need some other options.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So
Look at the elderly population.
So I quoted a guy. Now this is economy is a scale here, so take these premiums with a grain of salt. But his lives in a multi-million dollar home on Bayshore. Okay, in those type homes, you got to go to these specialty carriers, anyways. Without wind, okay, it was $8,000. With wind, it was $38,000. Mm-hmm. So, and he would have a 2 to 5% deductible, depending on the situation. So you're talking, $50,000 to $100,000 out of pocket before they're going to cover anything.
It makes sense though, but
so he saves $30,000 a year plus the out-of-pocket cost. He could probably replace, just repair half the roof.
So he saves $30,000, but what was the premium? Do you know?
The premium was $38,000.
If he's saving,
if he has wind.
If he's saving the $30,000 and taking that money and
so now
putting
he's
it
at
aside,
$8,000 premium.
Right, with no wind.
If he's saving $30,000 a year and he takes that money and puts it in a bank account, he's going to come out ahead on that.
I agree.
Well, and
stick it in the CD.
like I said, with a $40,000 to $100,000 deductible, depending on the circumstance.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Speaking of Citizens, this little footnote here. What is this? Citizens Insurance seeks 14.2% rate hike.
Yep.
What the?
Well, that would be, first of all, they need to raise their rates, or every Citizens policyholder is going to get an assessment.
But if they raise their rates 14.2% and then tack on mandatory flood and that's raised 14.2%, that's a money grab.
I don't know if it's a money grab as much as making sure they have enough money to pay their claims.
They don't pay their claims.
Well,
they pay their attorneys.
I was going to say.
They pay their attorneys.
Either way, they need to do that, or because everybody else in the industry is going up 50, 60, 80%, 100%. I mean, I saw one that was 300%. And the
insurance market is broken. We should be doing way more to fix that.
Let's start
next week.
Let's talk about positive things. We'll go negative next week.
We'll talk next week.
We'll talk negative next week.
We'll let you be doom and gloom next week, Adam. All right, so let's talk about the good things. So Senate Bill 102 for housing. So happy about this.
Live local.
$711 million infused back into Florida. It's actually the largest ever in history, and it's double what they gave last year.
Awesome.
So happy about this because you know where this money is coming from.
taxpayer?
Sadowski Fund.
Taxpayers?
Which is what this is for. When people have a mortgage, right, and they buy a property, that tax that's on there, so many times politicians will swoop it for other things, and it's actually going towards housing. So I'm very happy about that. Mm-hmm. So some of the things they're doing, another $100 million for Hometown Heroes. Remember we talked about that. 259, did I say thousand million?
No,
Sorry, 100 million for Hometown Heroes. 259 million for SAIL. That's financial assistance for affordable housing in underused areas. Another 252 million for SHIP. That is a down payment assistance program.
So with SAIL, that's a state apartment incentive loan? So
yeah, where they're incentivized to build apartments and affordable housing and that sort of stuff.
Okay, so $259 million is available to build apartment buildings. That's pretty neat.
And SAIL does other stuff too, because I've seen that before in down payment assistance, but I think it's a lot for apartments. I forget what SHIP stands for. Do you remember?
That's a home improvement program, because we're registered in Broward County to be a SHIP consultant. So It works like for our listening audience, if you're familiar with the Fannie Mae Home Style Program or the 203K Loan Assistance Program through FHA, that's where you can do a renovation loan inside of a mortgage. SHIP is similar in that you don't need a mortgage. You just commit to living in the property for 10 years, and you can get things like doors, windows, upgraded, new AC, modernization. So the SHIP program is very awesome.
There's a down payment assistance component to this too, because I remember seeing it.
What's on the SHIP program? What are the qualifications, or can anybody qualify?
We'll get the city in because they do a lot with SHIP.
Yeah, we'll have to get someone from the city in on SHIP. I mean, it's going to be different from city to city, but there are qualifications for all these.
Not everybody can just go get a free door.
No, there's income limitations. There's a whole bunch of information on these programs, but I'm glad to see $252 million infused just for this program.
Yeah, we should definitely get a city person in
to talk about
on
these,
SHIP and sale. That would be awesome.
So $100 million for Florida Housing and Finance for the completion of projects that were started. So this is where they were talking about how some of these places, for affordable housing and whatnot, were started. They get all their estimates in the beginning. COVID happened, everything tripled, and now they weren't able to finish some of these projects. So another $100 million went in to actually finish those projects. 5,000 refund for sales tax on building materials for workforce housing through Florida Housing and Finance. It is, and also some money also went towards those that are aging out of foster care. So the people that are 18, literally, when they age out of foster care, they're like, "C'est la vie. Here's your bag. Good luck." So there's definitely a need in the community for that, and also access to more affordable housing. I think that's more Section 8 vouchers, more different things like that.
I mean, that's all awesome, especially when you touch on the foster care. It's really tough because we have children in the foster care system that are already at a disadvantage. And when they turn 18 and they're kicked out, quote unquote, onto the street, they're even in a more disadvantage. They don't have the opportunities to go to the college. They're just wondering how they're going to survive. Mm-hmm. So if homelessness is stopped by providing homes or the ability for people like on the foster care program to have that stability, they could actually better themselves through a technical college or a trade school or things of that nature.
There should be a transition program where they're able to live here on site for, say, 6 months or whatever, and they help give them the skills to get a job, build a budget, and live.
And then this other one for building materials for workforce housing, that's an awesome one. I see that a lot in Belize because I spend a lot of time there with the developers in Belize. The successful developments are the ones that have structured and built temporary housing for their workers. Because once your workers are on site, you can do swing shifts, you can do what we call 10 on, 5 off. Your workforce is more happy. They don't have to spend a lot of time commuting.
Yeah.
So things for building temporary housing for your workforce, that's awesome.
Yeah, even if you make like a model center, right, and you put them in there temporarily and then you rent it or sell it or whatever afterward, it makes sense. Also, another little note, 2 out of 4 Florida neighborhoods were named the best places to live in the U.S., and they're right here in Tampa. The other 2 were in Orlando. According to Niche, it's a platform that connects parents and students with schools and colleges. They analyze cities and communities all around the United States using federal and local government data, and then they compare their findings to their resident ratings. And so their analysis for 2023 shows that 2 communities right here in Tampa, and again 2 in our sister community Orlando, were among the top 25 neighborhoods in the country.
Which were they?
Miami and...
Very niche, by the way. Very niche.
What are they?
All right, so hold on. So let me tell you what they study. So they look at the metrics for the areas in public schools, housing, crime, safety, nightlife, diversity, weather, communities that are family friendly, highlight waterfront places and all that stuff. So the top ones are Hyde Park, Spanish Town Creek, near downtown Tampa, and also Harbor Island. So that was number 4. And Harbor Island was number 11. I'm not worried about 1 through 3 because we're not in Tampa.
Extremely niche. Circle Hyde Park on a map for me, please. So
they're saying the median. I don't know about this one, but according to their report, I'll have to double check it. The median home price in Hyde Park is $469,284. I think I'm gonna fact check that.
It's not all of Hyde Park. It's Hyde Park, Spanish Town Creek.
Oh, okay. And then the median.
So it's a niche of a niche.
I got it.
Basically, Snow Avenue.
So rent $1,673, and then they're saying Harbor Island, almost 500, 498, 990, with rents of 2348. They said it was a beachfront town. Like, no, it's a little waterfront town. So they had that a little backwards. We'll be back with a little more information as soon as we get back in our off-air number.
This sounds like St. Patrick's Day Ren Fair music here.
What do you think, Madeline?
Last weekend.
Did he pass or no?
Last weekend
Pass or fail on the music?
Yeah. Has he been doing a good job on the music?
I think he's been doing a good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
He passes.
So I have to say,
This is the girl that swings around the fire.
the Fire Girl swinging music. Gotcha.
There's a fire girl swinging at the Renaissance Festival?
They can do fire this year. That's one of the benefits of moving from Mosey to Dade City is they can do fire.
I need to add fire.
You can do all sorts of stuff in Pasco County you can't do in Hillsborough County.
That is true, but I have to say one of my coworkers is an idiot. He's in the hospital with a broken ankle because he tried gluing 3 cans of soda together and using them as stilts. That'll teach him to get high on Coke.
Teenage dad joke.
Thank you. I told you it was
You got
one
a
per episode,
cricket
one per
button
episode.
you can click over there.
What'd you think about the Stolt Walker joke? Did you like it?
Give me the cricket sound. Give me the cricket sound.
I didn't even get a cringe. I just got.
It's as good as it's going to get for Stolt Walker joke. I'm just saying. All right, so mortgage rates hit the lowest level in 6 weeks. This could be the little spike in the housing that we're seeing. But according to Freddie Mac, 6.32% is the average 30-year fixed rate loan, and that has declined from 6.42. It's supposed to be a ray of hope for our little buyers
You
this
think
spring.
2 banks going out of business would prevent other banks from playing the treasury spread?
We'll see. We'll see. Rates are, I think they overshot on the rates personally, and they're leveling it back off. That's what I think. Baby boomers are also passing millennials in their share of home buyers. A National Association of Realtors, NAR, study showed last year that baby boomers are up 39%.
How are baby boomers still around?
They're totally around. My mom's a boomer. She's around.
Baby boomers like born right after World War II?
Yet they're a long cycle. There's two cycles of baby boomers.
Oh, there are. We had 2
Yeah.
wars?
No, but there's like pre and post. Like, I looked it up. It's a huge gap.
I mean, you got to think if you were born after World War II, you're in the 45 to 55. 55, 45, 65. You're like 70-year-olds minimum right now.
No.
Yeah, baby boomers. My parents wouldn't be baby boomers.
Yeah,
My mom is a
They're born
boomer,
at the end
and
of
I'm
this-
telling you, she's not that old.
your mom can't be a boomer.
She is.
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
While you're looking it up, we're going to talk more about Ren Fair. Are there
Yeah,
a lot of baby
there is.
boomers at Ren Fair?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, what are the
Sure,
Ren Fair
yeah.
demographics?
Yeah, what are
Okay,
the demographics
look,
of a Ren Fair?
Right here. Baby boomers are celebrating birthdays between 59 and 77.
Okay.
They are just below the silent generation, born from 28 to 45.
Silent generation isn't like they're not around anymore.
No, they weren't allowed to talk. Not those guys are 95 to 78.
But they're basically saying that's an 18-year period. Because I wouldn't say the millennial age group is 18 years.
They keep
spread.
the problem with this is every 4 or 5 years they redefine the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't a Gen X up until I became a Gen X. I was a Gen Y. Now I may or may not be a millennial. They just keep changing all the titles over and over
Yeah,
again.
no wonder I can never keep it up. But anyway, according to
silent
NAR's study,
generation.
39% of buyers were boomers, while millennials were only 28%. And the main reason they're saying boomers had more money. So,
That would
Yeah.
make sense.
all right.
No crap.
So do you own a home or do you rent?
I do not do either of those things because I'm on the road so much.
Oh, do you live out of like a caravan?
Yeah, kind of.
Traveling troupe?
Yeah.
Did you have a class about that in Clown College?
No.
You did?
What do they teach you?
So they had. My brain is
Like, is it skills based, or what all do they teach you?
So our first year of school, it was required to do juggling every day.
Okay.
You must know how to juggle. And they also had a required aerials class. You could pick between, I'm going to just learn solo aerials, or there was duo aerials where you do 2 or 3 people together on the same apparatus. Let's see, they taught steer wheel, tie tight wire, of course, which is what I specifically studied. There was a lot of range in terms of the circus skills. And then they had other classes as well that were more business focused.
So you
The business of the
The
circus.
business.
The dark side.
the business. So you are based out of a town, but you don't have like a standard place you go to when you're not doing your thing?
I mean, I visit my parents, and I mostly I've reconfigured
He's worried
my
about your
car.
mail. Yeah.
Oh
Where does
yeah,
your mail go?
I send important documents to my parents'
Okay,
house,
that
and
when
then,
you're registered
and then
agent.
anything that I need immediately, I get sent to wherever I am.
So your driver's license is your parents' address.
Yeah,
Missouri.
I travel Kansas
just
City,
curious.
Kansas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kansas.
So out
Sorry.
of a
Wrong side of the tracks.
365-day year, how many days are you on the road?
Oh, last year I was on the road a little over 8 months.
Nice.
Well, on the road, I was living in, I have that all wrong, 10 months. I was in Turkey for 8 months, and they provided housing, the company I worked for. So,
So do you do like cruise ships and other things too, potentially?
I've not done
or-
cruise ships, but that would be interesting.
That would be hard. Tightrope walking on the, or stilt walking
Well, I
on
was
the
gonna
Say,
ship.
do you think
Yeah.
you could
Well,
still
some
walk
of
on a
those
moving
big
ship?
ones.
I think I could.
Well, some
yeah,
of those
you'd
big
have
ones
to get
have
used
like
to it.
whole, theaters and
They do.
stuff.
They do like a
like-
Cirque du Soleil type thing.
And they're massive, so they're not
Yeah.
rock. Obviously maybe not the. I don't know. Depends. But I know they have performers in that side.
They
So-
do, yeah. There's a lot of circus happening
So
on
if
ships.
Ren Fair is 2 days a week,
Yes.
what do you do in the other 5 days a week? Are you doing more promos like this to promote Barf, or?
I am practice. Yeah, I have to do my normal routines. I have to go to the gym. I have to go work on the tight wire, practice my juggling, all that. And then my free time is constantly applying for the next thing because this is only 2 months, and so.
Here you go.
Oh man.
You want to juggle? We're gonna give her minutes to juggle.
I
Or is
have
she
to
gonna
stand for this.
Stand right in front of the camera here
Okay,
and the
man.
Facebook.
Oh,
so
she's
we can,
gonna juggle.
She's
So
gonna
she is
juggle.
juggling.
Oh, what a
She's
great
also attached to the
start. I'm
microphone.
so attached.
She's
This
attached.
is
She's
quite
like,
tricky.
pull that way
They're
out.
also
We'll
not the
see.
same weight.
They're very light.
We embarrassed
Let's
her
see.
on the camera,
Let's-
but
I'll try again.
Give her
Almost
some
got
loose
one.
on the wire. There you go.
there we go. Actually, she's
Look, all
juggling.
right. Yeah, it counts,
There we
right?
go.
Okay.
In her defense, she was literally tethered to the headset.
I'm quite
so.
tethered.
Yes.
Well, so you spend the week hunting for the next
Preparing
gig,
for the weekend.
and you spend preparing for the weekend,
Rehearsals.
doing promos, rehearsals. That's
Yeah.
neat. So a lot more goes into like I'm as a novice, I would think, hey, Bear Renfest, it's going to be people from around this town, shops from around the town. I was amazed to find shops from California, shops from New York. I mean, this is a worldly or U.S.ly event.
Yeah, we bop around.
Real quick, because we're almost out of time, what should someone not miss? Last weekend of the Renaissance
Oh.
Festival, we have tickets. 813-377-2775. We'll get them to you. 813-377-2775. What should someone not miss?
The circus shows.
Right. Probably the
time?
stilt walkers, right?
So
Stilt
my
walkers.
show, my first one is at 11:30, and then I also recommend seeing Acrobellum, Rosie Ringround, and then of course you can't miss the pubs.
All right, get the schedule as soon as you walk in the door. Thanks for listening. This is Tampa Home Talk. Welcome home.